What if I told you Kanye West just sent a chilling message that could flip the entire rap game upside down? Yeah, this ain't just another rant, this is a warning. A direct one. And according to fans, that message was aimed straight at Lil Wayne. After years of silent tension between the two icons, Kanye's latest statement has everyone asking one question. What does he know? That we don't? Because when Kanye speaks, it's never random. He's called out the industry before, from Jay-Z to Drake to Diddy, and every single time, something major followed. But this time it feels different. It feels personal. In a series of cryptic posts and behind-the-scenes leaks, Ye hinted that a major shift is coming, and that one of the biggest legends in hip-hop needs to prepare for what's next. And that legend? All signs point to Lil Wayne. Was it a threat? A warning? Or a truth bomb about the industry's hidden power plays that even Wayne can't avoid? Stick around, because in this video, we're breaking down Kanye's mysterious message, the hidden connection between his words and Wayne's recent moves, and how this final warning might expose the biggest secret in hip-hop history. This isn't just drama. This is a battle for power. And it might already be happening behind closed doors. When Kanye West speaks, the whole industry listens, whether they admit it or not. Because when Ye drops a statement, it's never random. It's calculated, layered, and often filled with messages that only make sense weeks or months later. And this time, his final warning has the internet in chaos, because it seems like Kanye isn't just talking to the world. He's talking directly to Lil Wayne. Now, before we dive in, let's rewind a little. Kanye and Wayne, two of the most influential rappers of their generation, have always shared mutual respect. Back in the early 2000s, when Ye was producing for Rockefeller and Wayne was redefining mixtape culture, they were both changing hip-hop in their own ways. But what most people don't realize is that Kanye and Wayne's paths have crossed in the darkest corners of the industry, from label deals to hidden partnerships that fans never even knew existed. And lately, Ye's been dropping clues that someone at the top of the game is about to be tested. In a recent interview, Kanye hinted at artists who think they're free but are still owned. That line alone sent shockwaves through the fan base. Because who could he be talking about? Drake, Travis, or someone even bigger? Someone who's been in the game long enough to know how deep the rabbit hole goes? Then, out of nowhere, Ye posted a cryptic message on social media. They warned me first. I tried to warn them back. Now it's their turn. No names, no tags. Just a statement that instantly got fans connecting dots. And the name that popped up the most? Lil Wayne. Why? Because just days before that post, Wayne had made headlines for signing a massive new distribution deal, one that reportedly gives his label Young Money more power in streaming and catalog ownership than ever before. On the surface, that sounds like a win. But according to industry insiders, that move might have stepped on some powerful toes. See, Kanye's been vocal for years about the dark side of the music business and the contracts, the publishing control, and how major labels use money to keep artists trapped. And if Wayne is now trying to claim his independence, that could explain why Ye's tone suddenly got warning level serious. Because if history tells us anything, it's that Kanye doesn't just warn for no reason. Remember when he spoke out about Jay-Z's silent deals? Weeks later, reports surfaced about internal power shifts at Roc Nation. Remember when he warned Drake about fake alliances? Months later, the Pusha T situation exploded. So when Ye says, "You're next," you'd better believe something's brewing. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Lil Wayne himself has been acting unusually quiet lately. No long interviews. No deep statements about the industry. Just silence. And if you know Wayne, that silence speaks volumes. Because this is the same man who built a legacy by saying exactly what he wanted, whenever he wanted. Fans have started to speculate that Wayne might be facing some behind-the-scenes pressure, something that connects directly to Kanye's warning. Some even believe Ye and Wayne are on opposite sides of a bigger power game, one that involves masters, royalties, and catalog ownership worth hundreds of millions. And here's where it all ties together. Kanye has been fighting publicly for artist ownership and transparency since 2020. He posted his own contracts online, exposing how even billionaires can be owned by the system. So when he says, "You're next," maybe he's not attacking Wayne. Maybe he's warning him that the same trap is coming his way. Because let's be real, Wayne's catalog is one of the most valuable in modern hip-hop. From Lollipop to A Milli to the Carter series, his masters alone could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And with the current wave of artists selling their catalogs, there's major tension between independence and industry control. Some fans believe Ye is trying to tell Wayne, don't fall for it. Don't sell what they can't recreate. Others think Ye is calling him out for already making a move behind closed doors. Either way, the energy is tense, and the internet is divided. Comments under Ye's latest post read, he's talking about Wayne. 100%. This feels like another power shift coming. Kanye always knows something before it happens. But what exactly does Ye know? Why is this warning being delivered now? And what connection could possibly link Kanye's cryptic post to Lil Wayne's new label expansion? We're about to break all that down, because the deeper you look into this timeline, the clearer it becomes that this warning might not just be about business. It could be about control over the music, control over the image, control over the legacy. And if Kanye's right, then Lil Wayne might be walking into the same trap that nearly destroyed Ye himself. The question is, will he listen before it's too late? To really understand Kanye's warning, we have to rewind, not to the headlines, but to the moments the public forgot. Because the truth is, Kanye West and Lil Wayne's relationship has always been layered, filled with both admiration and unspoken competition. Back in the early 2000s, both men were redefining the sound of hip-hop from completely different directions. Kanye was the producer-turned-rapper who broke the gangster mold with College Dropout. Lil Wayne was the street prodigy who reinvented himself as a lyrical monster, dropping mixtape after mixtape, building a cult-like following before streaming even existed. They were both outliers, two artists who beat the system in their own ways. But that's also what made them dangerous, especially to the industry machine that depends on control. Now here's where it gets interesting. Around 2008, when Wayne was at his peak with Thaw Carter 3, Kanye was producing hits for almost everyone: Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, even Wayne himself. And according to a few insiders, the two nearly collaborated on a full-length project, something that never materialized. Why? Because apparently label executives didn't want it to happen. That's right. Two of the most creative forces in the game were reportedly discouraged from joining forces. At the time, Kanye was part of Rockefeller's business network, while Wayne was under Cash Money and Universal. Both systems had too much to lose if their biggest stars became too independent. Fast forward years later, and both men start speaking out. Kanye publicly calls out record labels, exposing contract clauses and ownership rights. Wayne sues Birdman and Cash Money for $51 million, claiming unpaid royalties and withheld masters. See the pattern yet? Both men are fighting the same invisible war, against the same corporate structure that profits from artist control. So when Kanye says, "You're next," maybe he's not throwing shade. Maybe he's speaking from experience, because he knows what happens when you try to take back what's yours. But here's where the plot thickens. After Wayne finally settled with Birdman, he regained control of Young Money. That sounds like victory, right? But behind that victory, industry whispers suggest that the new deal Wayne signed gave him freedom on paper, but limited distribution control in practice. In other words, he's still in the system, just wearing a different chain. And that's where Kanye's message hits harder, because he's been on this crusade to destroy that exact illusion. The idea that artists own something while corporations still hold the keys. He's seen the contracts, the publishing loopholes, the 360 deals disguised as partnerships. So when he warned Wayne, fans think he was saying, "You may think you're free, but they're still watching your every move." Now let's talk about timing, because Kanye never moves without purpose. Right before this final warning, Lil Wayne announced plans for Young Money Radio Season 2 and teased a new business expansion. He's been talking about signing new artists, creating a digital media arm, and even launching his own streaming model. That's power, real power. And we've seen what happens when rappers start building empires outside the system. Remember Nipsey Hussle? He was building ownership-based models before he was tragically taken. Remember Ye's Yeezy empire? Once it got too big, the same industry that praised him turned against him. So Kanye's "you're next" could very well mean they're coming for you next. But what makes this theory wild is how subtle Wayne's response has been. He hasn't addressed Kanye directly. No tweets, no statements. Just small comments in interviews about staying focused and moving smart. Almost like he knows something's brewing, but doesn't want to feed the fire. Meanwhile, Kanye's tone keeps escalating. He's been spotted wearing a jacket with the words, "Own nothing, control everything," a phrase often linked to industry power structures. He's also been working on new music rumored to contain direct shots at major executives. And guess what? One of those songs supposedly mentions kings being replaced by clones. Some fans think that's a metaphor. Others think he's speaking literally, that the industry manufactures versions of artists to keep control while the originals fade. And if that theory sounds wild, remember, Ye's rants have often predicted future chaos. Before the Adidas fallout, he warned about corporate takeover. Before Diddy's current investigations, he mentioned wolves in suits. And before Drake's catalog battle rumors, Ye hinted that masters will move hands again soon. Now suddenly, he's saying, "You're next." And right after that, Wayne expands his business. Coincidence? Or connection? Because the truth is, Lil Wayne's empire isn't just about music. Young Money still owns rights connected to Nicki Minaj, Drake, and Tyga's early work, all billion-dollar catalogs in their own right. If Wayne gains full leverage over those, that's enough power to challenge entire record conglomerates. And that might be exactly why Kanye is warning him. Because Ye knows what happens when you get too powerful in a system that thrives on dependency. The music industry loves success stories, as long as they stay controlled. But once you start building something they can't touch, suddenly everything changes. And right now, both Kanye and Wayne are sitting at that crossroads. Wayne's got the catalog. Kanye's got the influence. Both have independent money, fan loyalty, and decades of experience surviving this machine. But only one of them is talking. And if Ye's words are truly prophetic, then Wayne's next move could determine more than just his future. It could shift how every rapper navigates this industry from now on, because this isn't about beef. It's about freedom versus control, and Kanye's final warning might be the last call before another legend gets pulled back into the system he fought to escape. The question is, will Lil Wayne take that warning seriously? Or will he learn the hard way, like so many before him? By now, it's clear. Kanye West's so-called final warning to Lil Wayne wasn't just a random outburst. It's a signal. A message aimed at someone who's about to face the same industry warfare Ye has been fighting for years. But to understand why Kanye chose now to speak, we have to talk about the machine behind the music, the power structure that runs hip-hop like a chessboard, where every move is calculated, and every artist is a potential pawn. Let's start with this. Both Kanye and Lil Wayne have something in common that makes them dangerous: ownership. Not just fame, not clout. Ownership of masters, publishing rights, and influence. Kanye fought tooth and nail to gain control of his masters after realizing how deep the contracts went. He exposed the truth, posting his entire label agreement on Twitter in 2020, showing the world how artists were being silently trapped for decades. Lil Wayne? He went through the exact same thing. His battle with Birdman over Cash Money wasn't just about unpaid money. It was about control. Wayne wanted what was his: the music, the rights, the legacy. And when he finally settled, it looked like he won. But Kanye's message might suggest otherwise. Because when you look closer, it seems Wayne's victory might have come with new strings attached. According to several insiders, Young Money's distribution, even after the settlement, still connects to Universal Music Group, the same powerhouse that's been under fire for controlling more than half of hip-hop's biggest catalogs. Guess who else had ties to Universal? Kanye. Now suddenly, he's warning about artists who think they're free, but are still owned. Makes sense. He's not just talking about some unknown newcomer. He's talking about icons who built empires, but still can't move without the system watching. And that's why fans believe Wayne might be next on that invisible hit list. Because the moment he announced Young Money Radio's return, the buzz wasn't just about music, it was about media. Wayne was about to step into a space where influence and independence collide. That's the same path Kanye took when he started speaking unfiltered, building Yeezy, and separating himself from corporate sponsors. And if history repeats itself, the system doesn't like that kind of independence. Now, let's talk about the silent players, the names nobody mentions but who pull the strings. You have major label execs who thrive on catalog ownership. You have entertainment lawyers who hide poison clauses in contracts. And then you have media networks that decide which artist's story gets amplified and which one gets buried. Kanye exposed all three. And now, if Lil Wayne starts doing the same, it could cause another industry collapse from the inside. Because remember, Wayne isn't just an artist. He's a gatekeeper. He helped launch Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga. Every one of them built a brand worth hundreds of millions. If Wayne ever exposes how those early deals were structured, or how much control Young Money really has, it could rewrite the narrative of modern hip-hop business. And Kanye knows that. That's why his final warning isn't just for Wayne. It's for everyone watching. Now here's where things get darker. Over the past few months, rumors have been floating around that certain catalog investors, big corporations who buy song rights, have been quietly trying to buy out parts of Wayne's publishing. If true, that means someone's trying to reclaim control over his empire before it grows too powerful. And that's exactly the kind of move Kanye's been warning artists about for years. He once said, "They let you think you're winning, until your signature becomes their property." That line hits differently now, because what if Ye's message wasn't a threat, but a prophecy? What if he's trying to say, the same people who came for me are coming for you next? And let's not forget, both of these men share ties to some of the most powerful figures in hip-hop's hidden network. Kanye has history with Jay-Z and Roc Nation, the company that now manages some of Wayne's closest collaborators. Wayne's own label has past connections with Universal and Republic Records, both of which have publicly clashed with Ye's business philosophy. So when Ye says, "You're next," he might not be warning Wayne personally. He might be warning the system that Wayne's about to rise above them, and if that happens, the industry will fight back the same way it always does, through narrative control. Think about it. Kanye's image was destroyed in the media once he started exposing contracts and business secrets. Before that, he was a billionaire fashion icon. After that, they called him unstable, crazy, unmanageable. What's the easiest way to stop a powerful artist? Discredit them. If Wayne keeps expanding his empire, with Young Money Radio, new artists, and ownership models, he's walking straight into the same spotlight Ye once stood in. And we all saw how that ended. That's why Ye's warning matters. It's like saying, you've made it to the top, now they're going to come for your throne. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about music. It's about control of culture, influence, and money. When artists like Kanye and Wayne stop playing the label game and start building their own systems, the entire music hierarchy shakes. And for those sitting at the top, that's dangerous. Right now, both men represent two sides of the same coin. Kanye, the rebel who burned bridges to stay free. Wayne, the loyal legend trying to evolve without losing himself, but the industry doesn't like either version, because once rappers realize they don't need permission to own their sound, the system collapses. So what happens next? Does Wayne heed Kanye's warning and move in silence? Or does he become the next target of the very system he once escaped? That's the tension in the air right now. Fans feel it, artists feel it, and whether they admit it or not, the industry feels it too. Because deep down, everyone knows, when Kanye West starts calling out names, it's never without reason. And if Lil Wayne truly is next, then the next few months could expose the biggest power struggle hip-hop has ever seen. So here we are, the point where everything connects. Kanye West's cryptic message, Lil Wayne's silence, and an industry quietly watching, waiting to see which legend makes the next move. Because make no mistake, this final warning isn't about ego or beef. It's about survival. And deep down, Kanye knows exactly what's coming. Let's be real. Kanye's entire career has been a cycle of truth, chaos, and clarity. Every time he's been labeled crazy, he's been exposing something the industry didn't want people to see. And every single time, he's been right sooner or later. He warned about label slavery long before it became a mainstream discussion. He exposed how corporations use celebrity faces to sell culture they don't own. And he revealed how artists are turned into brands, only to be discarded when they stop being profitable. Now, when Kanye says, "You're next," he's talking to the few artists left who still hold real power. And Lil Wayne is at the top of that list, because Wayne's not just another rapper. He's a walking legacy. He built an empire that birthed Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Young Money, arguably the most influential hip-hop dynasty since Rockefeller. That's exactly why Ye's message matters. Because behind the scenes, a quiet storm is brewing, one that's about to reshape how power operates in the rap world. Think about it. Both Wayne and Kanye have reached a stage where they don't need radio, label validation, or even mainstream media. Their names alone generate global attention. That kind of independence scares the machine. Because when artists realize they can control their narrative, the system loses control of the story. And that's what Kanye's warning is truly about. Control of the story. He's seen how they twist headlines, how they weaponize scandals, how they use personal drama to bury artistic truth. If Wayne steps into full ownership mode, pushing Young Money into total independence, he'll face the same tactics Ye faced. Look closely, and you'll see it already starting. Subtle media shifts. Strange headlines. Fans question Wayne's direction. These aren't coincidences. They're testing shots. Little distractions that plant doubt before the real play begins. And that's what Ye is trying to warn against. See, Kanye doesn't want Wayne to repeat his mistakes, trusting the system until it turns against him. He wants him to prepare. Because as Ye learned the hard way, once you start building your own power, the industry stops being your ally and starts being your enemy. Let's talk legacy for a second. Both of these men changed the game in different eras. Wayne made it cool to be lyrical and weird in a street-dominated scene. Kanye made it acceptable to be emotional, intellectual, and artistic in a genre that once rejected that. Now both of them stand at the top, facing the same enemy, a system that never truly wanted them to own what they built. That's the tragic cycle of hip-hop's biggest stars. Build, inspire, rebel, and then get punished for it. And maybe that's what Kanye meant by final. Maybe this is the last generation of rappers willing to fight for ownership before AI. Corporations and conglomerates take full control of music forever. Lil Wayne's next move could determine which side of history hip-hop lands on. If he doubles down and joins Ye in this fight for independence, we could see a revolution in artist power. Imagine a world where the top-tier rappers unite, owning their masters, platforms, and distribution. The game would never be the same again. But if Wayne stays quiet, if he lets the system play him the same way it played Ye, then the final warning becomes prophecy. Because once the industry neutralizes the few who still hold creative control, it's over. Now here's where it gets emotional. Kanye's warning isn't just for Wayne. It's for every artist who thinks success equals freedom. He's saying, learn from my scars before they become yours. Wayne's always been loyal to his people, his music, and his art. But loyalty in this business can be a double-edged sword. Because while you're staying loyal to the system is quietly planning your replacement. Just ask Ye. The same media that once called him a genius now calls him a problem. The same brands that used his influence now pretend they don't know him. The same executives that cheered his wins are the ones who locked his contracts, and that's what Ye is trying to stop from happening to Wayne. Because whether fans realize it or not, these two men represent the last line of true independence left in mainstream hip-hop. They built their own labels. They broke their own barriers. They made the system bend before it broke them. And that's exactly why Ye's final warning carries weight. It's not a feud. It's a flare in the dark. A message to Wayne and to every artist watching. Don't wait until they own your name to realize you've lost your power. As for Wayne, his silence might not mean ignorance. It could mean strategy, because Wayne's always been the quiet storm, the one who lets his actions speak louder than his words. If he's paying attention to Ye's message, he's probably already moving behind the scenes, restructuring deals, realigning partnerships, tightening ownership. And if that's true, then maybe this isn't the beginning of a war, but the beginning of an alliance. Imagine it, Kanye West and Lil Wayne, two of the most influential forces in music, finally on the same side. Not as rivals, but as revolutionaries. Not competing for charts, but fighting for freedom. That's the vision Ye's warning could spark. A united front of artists who refuse to be silenced, censored, or controlled. Because in the end, this isn't just Kanye versus the industry. It's artists versus ownership, freedom versus control, truth versus silence. And as Kanye's words echo across social media, you're next. It's not a threat. It's a prophecy, because one way or another, every artist will have to choose a side. And when that moment comes, Lil Wayne's choice might just define the future of hip-hop itself. Hip-hop itself.